Hey guys, it's me, the 90s Doggo, and this is another episode of my podcast, and this is the episode number 10. And here I am with my brother Alex, the voice of Rat,
Hi.
and Hellsender, another friend.
Hello.
Hey, today we're going to talk about South Park in general.
Yeah, because the three are the biggest nerds of the show.
Yeah, the biggest South Park nerds.
Hmm. So,
Yeah, we all we need to do is just get certifications for that.
yeah, I have cried.
Uh,
Well,
Yeah, well, let's start from the beginning. It's funny how South Park started, like some just random thing that Parker,
and Matt
Trey,
Stone.
Trey Parker and Matt Stone did, like something just to, they were just messing up with the stuff.
Yeah, some wacky shorts, the spirit of Christmas, just to have fun with their friends.
Yeah,
The first one, Santa versus Mr. Frost, is really bizarre. Hmm?
yeah,
The art style.
yeah. You will not believe that's the original South Park episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read somewhere that the show started off just being their like what was it, a high school or a college animation project. They I mean they just they they had like 1 month to make the whole damn thing, and I think one of their college friends, uh who was the inspiration for Butters, who made that short, helped them. He was responsible for the whole animation and the thing. So I mean, it's just funny how one little thing can bring so many people together. I mean, hell, I think some of the some of the people who have been with them from season one and beyond are still with them to this day. I mean,
Oh
it's
yeah,
yeah, it's really
Yeah.
surprising. I mean,
And
they're practically family now.
yeah.
but Trey Parker and Matt Stone humor was before South Park. They made some movies that were like Monty Python, like Cannibal
Yeah,
the
that
Musical.
was their original inspiration,
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
they were decent.
who hasn't taken Monty Python as their inspiration for their humor?
yeah,
Yeah. Or Basketball, another movie I
yeah,
remember.
yeah, that was funny.
Yeah,
But even if they don't like it, because that's what I have heard.
yeah. But we know that after South Park they hit the jackpot. Hmm?
Yeah, that was the real it what made them unique. Because if not, they were just like a lesser version of Monty Python.
Yeah. Still, I like it that era of them. Even I remember in the first two seasons they still have live action sketches,
Sketches,
sketches with Indian companion and something
and the
like
dog.
that, and a dog. Hmm?
Yeah,
They are hard to find that sketches, but
yeah,
they
the
were funny. Hmm?
hmm? Hellsender?
You hear?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I remember some of those old sketches from back then. I think the one of my favorite ones is the what was it, the dead parrot sketch. I think that Cartman did with Kyle and Kenny, and of course, naturally, Kenny was the parrot. I mean, it just goes to show that Trey and Parker could easily just give credit where credit's due, and they're based on that, they're really classy guys. I really hope to meet them someday.
I remember that in one of that sketches, they say that Mr. McGill, McKay, drugs are bad, McKay, was based in the real principal of them in high school.
Yeah, and he has said it a few times, but that was, I think, the first time we hear him say it, Trey Parker. That
Yeah.
he even based his voice and the okay and all of that.
Yeah.
I
So
think he based a
Mr.
lot of the
McGill was a
characters
real
on people he knew
person.
from back then.
That's the beautiful of it. Hmm?
Yeah, I mean, I think Parker even said that a lot of the characters from the show are actually based on people he knew, he grew up with, you know, in his childhood. I mean,
Yeah.
it's interesting because he and Stone actually unknowingly grew up in the same town, and they didn't realize until they attended like college that we're in the same neighborhood. I mean, it's interesting how it they're brought together like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, another one of those cases was where they said that Kenny was based of a kid that never came to school, so they made the jokes about him being dead, and he was poor
Yeah,
kid.
that's cruel. That's cruel. They also said that the kid also wore this old ratty orange hoodie too, just like
The orange
the show's
parka.
Kenny.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I think they said that, I think I saw somewhere on the internet that the real Kenny, actually hates, the show's, portrayal of him because it disrespected his childhood or something.
Yeah,
But,
because in
you
that
know,
episodes he was dead, he was like the
he's dead. I mean,
untouchable.
yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I'd probably be pissed too, given if I was treated as the punchline for a joke every time. But
I
I
would
mean,
be honored
it's their
if
show.
I was
They
the
have
real
Are you
Kenny.
sure?
Maybe.
still. I mean, credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
well, uh, let's start now with one of the first seasons. Like uh, when South Park started, it was like one of those typical adult
Entity shows.
edgy shows that you will see on MTV and all of that. It wasn't. It didn't have these long, these very setting characters. The kids were very similar in personalities, and the show was more about edgy humor rather than
Fart
political
jokes and, some dirty words more than
and
anything.
violence.
Yeah.
But it was
I still
it didn't have that level of political commentary that the show is known for now.
I still love the first few seasons. For me,
Yeah.
they are magical. The first episode, Cartman gets an anal probe is South Park. Huh?
Yeah,
Practically in
well,
its essence.
that's why they.
I mean, the sheer fact that it was a show involving little kids because all the characters are like 9, 8, 9, 10 years old, kind of like the same age as the kids from Charles Schultz's Peanuts, and the kind you find in any typical kid shows are put in these like really surreal, gross, perverted situations. And I think the fact, that they set up, these premises and just, putting these kids in them is what caught a lot of people's attention, and it really pissed a lot of the the more child-friendly groups like the Parents Television Council off so much. And I think, from that point on, Parker and Stone just made it their mission to just say, "Hey, let's see how much we can get away with pissing people off with our show without making it too, entirely socio-political and whatnot. We just touch on it, but we make fun of everyone, just like The Simpsons do."
Yeah, but I don't know. For example,
Well, but the difference is that South Park took so little time to make that they could make a very uh,
fast.
fast episodes and touch on issues that were right where the show was airing. So it was really impressive that they was very up to date with all this stuff always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they said that like an average episode only takes two weeks to make. They said, and
Yeah.
they literally just run on crunch time with each episode.
Yes, and back to the first few seasons, I remember one of my favorite episodes was the one with Barba Streisand as a villain. Was one of the first few, celebrities portrayed as an evil villain.
Yeah, the first time, and that started a tradition of making the celebrity the
Monster of the week.
the villain that they have to defeat in one episode.
Yeah, like the gay fish in another episode. Huh?
Yeah,
And all that.
Yeah, that I think that was like their attempt to just play on the whole celebrity, special episode like
Yeah.
Simpsons or
yeah. Unlike
Scooby
the
Doo did.
Simpsons, they made fun of the celebrity, and yeah, in the Simpsons they did too, but it was mostly like almost like mm, how you would say it.
Homage.
Yeah, like they
Oh
were
my,
not
yeah.
allowed to be too mean to them.
And not only that, normally in The Simpsons, the celebrity will start in the episode. Huh?
Yeah,
Like Tony
Yeah,
Hawk
I
and
think
all
the
that.
celebs were like part of the joke, that they were in on the joke and they knew how to, laugh at themselves. I mean, in a way, it's like the Simpsons was, roasting them, but
in a more
the
kind
celebs,
way,
took it in
Yeah.
good
not too
stride.
mean.
Like a friendly banter.
Yeah,
Except with Bush.
yeah. Well, he didn't get started in that one.
Yeah.
That was the one of the few times that Simpson did the more South Park approach to celebrities.
And for that was one of the best celebrities in The Simpsons.
yeah,
Homer fighting, Bush and all that in the sewers.
yeah.
But
Oh, believe me, if South Park did an episode on Bush Senior, I think it would literally be like, say, Randy literally murdering Bush Senior in the sewers rather than just Homer, kicking Bush Senior's ass.
yeah,
Or anything. Like if it was in the sewers, Mr. Hanky would probably like, you know, give Bush Senior an annual probe himself or something.
yeah.
yeah.
Uh, and what else? Yeah, South Park was a lot more meaner, and that made it more edgy South Park than The Simpsons in that approach.
I love that of South Park, except for one thing. Because South Park was like the precursor, to edgy humor, but sadly that evolution in Family Guy, and I am not so fan of Family Guy.
I mean, we just talked in another podcast about Hazbin Hotel, and the creator of Hazbin Hotel has said plainly that she was inspired by South Park to use that edgy humor, but I don't think she does it that as well. Like she didn't learn the right lessons from South Park. I think.
Well, in defense of the creator, I think Hazbin Hotel is better than Family Guy at least.
Ah, you are like South Park. You hate Family Guy. Well.
South Park is my
Well,
religion. Huh?
well, it depends on the season of Family Guy. If we're talking like seasons 1 to 5, then
Cartman is my
no way
fucking
Chespin
god.
could top it. But
Yeah.
And how
it
about
wasn't
you?
until I think I'd say like it wasn't until like Fox got bought out by Disney, then I think Family Guy really started to lose its edge. I mean, I think there are still like some nice ones here and there, but they're like few and far between that they're not worth writing home about.
Yeah, I still respect the people that like Family Guy, but I am just like in that. Now that we are talking about South Park, there was an episode that was the Cartoon Wars that Cartman hate Family Guy and want to destroy it and all that. It's one of my favorite episodes.
Ah, yeah, that one is
Oh
really
yeah, that
good.
was an awesome episode too, since they
Yeah,
had Bart Simpson in it.
yeah.
Yeah. And you know the plot twist with the manatees and all that. Huh?
Mhm.
And the ideas
Oh yeah, the
sphere.
manatees grabbing the
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 balls.
the what was it, those little balls that's used in lottery picks, the
Yeah.
Yeah.
to just randomly determine what
Free
the
words. And
premise would
that
be for
was
each
a
episode.
sketch.
I
Huh?
mean, the whole episode it builds up to this great revelation, and it's just a bunch of manatees,
Yeah.
and it
I'm
was
pretty
just
sure that's probably how all showrunners are just writing their episodes nowadays. I mean, probably pre AI.
I always thought that shows like Family Guys were like Scarface. You know, have a mountain of cocaine and just snorting and that's the inspiration of the episode.
well, ironic that you say that because Trey Parker and Matt Stone use it to do acid to get inspiration sometimes. So in their case, it's for real. The difference is that eh, eh, they had better. They made a better shot out of it.
Yeah, but I don't know. I love South Park, but sometimes it's just too random even for me.
Yeah.
For example, there was one episode that was a parody to History Channel and the staffing and
Yeah, it was a Thanksgiving special and also a parody of the Thor movie. And I don't like that episode much. It's kind of boring,
for me
honestly.
it's the only episode that South Park jumped the shark for me.
Yeah.
Was too weird and stupid, even for South Park.
Yeah, but not in a funny way. It was just, maybe I don't get it because I never watched the Thor movie, so to me it was just like, eh. But on the other hand, I watched a few movies they parodied before. I, no, I mean, sometimes I watched the parody that South Park did before the movie itself, and I still find it funny.
Like the Inception episode, I
Yeah,
remember, with Mr. Mackey that was a hoarder.
yeah.
Huh? That
Yeah,
was.
that was a weird episode. I mean, yeah, I think they were just writing off the whole Inception craze that was going on at the
Yeah,
time,
but.
and
And the villain was, a mascot owl that just fuck Mr. Mackey.
And I mean, later in the game, that's reference it again because they show that Mr. Maki is still a hoarder.
Yeah.
And so they never even addressed Stan's hoarding at all. I mean, I don't know what the whole point of the episode was. Was it to just demonstrate that what mascot people like theme park mascots or something are perverts or something? I don't
Sometimes
know.
South Park just wants to be weird and random and make fun of a movie that everyone thought it was the biggest shit ever.
Yeah, and they do
Yeah.
it perfectly in that episode. Or another one I remember was this. I remember was when Stan was traumatized when he go to see the last Indiana Jones movie. You know that the Crystal School and they say that they raped Indiana Jones in his face. Huh?
Yeah.
And
Oh
now with the
Jesus,
last
that
movie, I
episode.
think he's like that.
I mean, the problem I have with that episode is that I don't get if they for real think that it was that bad the movie that it was like literally seeing Indiana Jones being raped off a screen, of they're making fun of the people who get too passionate about bad movies and all of that. I can't tell.
That, or I think they're probably just making an overall statement with how Hollywood treats film franchises as a
Yeah.
whole.
Yeah, I mean, but I have seen people that have the interpretation that no, that episode is making fun of the people who get too upset about movies.
Or,
I
or
don't
yeah,
know.
and take the movies too way too seriously as a whole.
Yeah, but I really think that Disney is making in Indy his little bitch, sadly.
But way more with Star Wars and
Yeah,
Marvel.
and Marvel.
Yeah. But that's why I wanted to say. A lot of time I have noticed that people don't get like the message that Trey Parker and Matt Stone try to get across in their episodes, and sometimes they have to say it out loud because people don't get it.
Mm, maybe this will sound a little, pretentious, but I don't think it doesn't matter if you get the message or not. If you like the episode and the show, what's the problem?
Yeah,
Huh?
you find it funny.
Yeah, I think so. Whatever. If you get the message or don't, it
I
doesn't
think the
matter.
absolute last thing you should do is to try to explain your art. The whole thing about art is that you just leave it to the people you are presenting the art to in order to try to interpret the meaning. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys have made art that people probably interpreted in their own way that you never intended for them to see, or you just try to write or draw something and they without much meaning to it, but people try
Yeah.
to find meaning in it. And it's just, I mean, I get, I mean, I can't, nobody can really understand how Parker and Stone, what they were intending when they had, some of those episode ideas. I mean, but or hell, if they actually had ever had any real meaning at all. I mean, if I mean, as I mean, it's like you guys said. I mean, as long as you enjoy it and it's not ruining, your sleep, and you're not losing sleep over it, then, I guess that's all that matters, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, uh, yeah. I mean, some people. It seems like some people like watch South Park for the political commentary and don't care for the silly humor.
I remember now that you are talking that point that for some in USA for long time ago some senators they say they were South Park conservative Republicans or something crap like that. Huh?
Yeah,
And Trey Parker and Matt
Yeah.
Stone don't like that. Hmm?
yeah. They're
They don't
Republican.
like their show being used for someone else's agenda. That's not, yeah, that's not cool, bro.
No, South Park is just to make fun of all,
Yeah, I mean,
of everything.
yeah, they make fun of everything. Like,
Yeah, and that's the magic of South Park. I
yeah,
think.
nobody is safe. Nobody
Yeah.
is like,
They crap in everyone,
yeah,
even
no,
in themselves.
yeah, nobody is like sacred. Everything has to be make fun of.
Mm, yes. Um, but back, well,
Well, now we can talk about maybe briefly mention it a few of our favorite episodes.
our characters.
Uh,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
we can talk about the characters while talking about the episode. For example, a good episode for me is The List. That one is very funny.
Ah, yes, I remember that with Wendy and Stan.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that Kyle was the ugly kid. I remember.
yeah.
For me, the best part in
Yeah.
that episode is the ghost of Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah. And
Oh.
yeah, yeah, what we're gonna say?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, a little bit, interesting that they brought in Abraham Lincoln, but not like, they had, the still, face of his like they did with Saddam Hussein or Mel Gibson. But yeah, I mean,
They
they
have
just, they
they have stopped doing that lately because I don't know. It was funny for me that
probably
they just
copyright.
put a picture in the chapter.
See a crappy picture, huh?
Yeah,
And but like I don't know, Angel Anaconda. What was a show like that all the time?
yeah,
Oh yeah, that show, Angelica and I think and Angelica Anaconda. I think that was I forgot what that was
A
called.
little creepy.
I
yeah,
Oh yeah, Angela Anaconda. That was like this weird. Uh, it started off as this like really weird short on Nickelodeon.
In
That's
Kablam.
or was it?
yeah. I mean, the 90s had a lot of experimentation with animation and ironically, South Park was also one of those shows that was experimenting with different types of animation. That was one of the things that also made it stand out.
Hmm.
I think a lot of those animators were probably on acid when they tried to think up of those ideas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Plus, coming up with kids shows is probably or animated shows is possibly the easiest way to get into the entertainment industry.
yeah.
Mm,
I mean, well, we were talking.
the list.
You want to talk about another episode or something like that?
Well, money. Mostly about Cartman or Butters. That's are my favorite characters
Yeah,
of the show.
Oh yeah, any episode that features those two are usually my favorite. I think my top three of my top episodes involves the two of them. I think one of them is Casa Bonita. That was a really good episode. Remember that one?
yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
That one is great.
Or
And that episode really show how much of a asshole is Cartman.
yeah. Or
There was yeah, he was just like, geez, I mean, God, he. I mean, it just goes to show that how they made. I think it's just pivotal to how they made Butters his butt monkey now instead of like Kenny and Kyle. I mean this whole bond that he and Butters share. It's like Pinky and the Brain, and that's probably
yeah, and another episode I remember was the Awisomo robot. Huh?
Yeah, another one that really is really funny with Cartman and Butters.
Yes.
Rick and Butters.
Yeah. And was like a parody of E.T., you know, the boy is friend with a
Yeah.
creature or a robot, and the
Yeah.
government are the villains.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and speaking of those other episodes, there's also Death of our Eric Cartman, where uh, uh, Stan, Kai, and Kenny all pretended that he was dead because he ate their KFC dinner, and they all
Yeah, yeah.
pretended that he wasn't there. Yeah, they
Actually,
just gave him the silent treatment.
he didn't eat the chicken, just the exterior part, and
Yeah, the
that's what
skin.
the skin, and
Oh, the
that was
skin.
the worst
That's
thing that Karma never did. They said.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
worst
that's
thing.
almost as bad. That's probably the worst possible thing, but oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, and and I mean, I think I remember that in that episode, Butters thought he was hallucinating, and he literally had to get his anal probed in order to as part of the treatment. Oh my god, that was I don't think I remember laughing and crying so hard
I
at the same
remember
time.
other of my Cartman episodes was one that he had a diary that was around a sitcom, something like that, but it was like assimilating everything and one robot like Terminator named Bill Cosby come from the past to kill Cartman because that diary will become, like Skynet and rule everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for some reason, the diary fusion with Cartman
And it becomes a parody of Akira.
of Akira.
Oh yeah, the Trapper Keeper episode where he
Yeah, one
becomes
of
a
the best
giant
episodes.
blob.
That episode was funny, but a little creepy. You know the Cartman blob thing.
Well, it is making fun of Akira. It has to be creepy. I mean, even when
I
you,
mean, if
even if
it's
you,
I'm surprised it was him that I'm a little surprised it was him they chose to be the monster rather than just like I don't know Kenny given or Butters given that
Well,
they're
because
the whole
Cartman is
butt
the
monkeys
asshole, he needs to be
of the
the
show.
villain.
yeah,
Huh?
and yeah,
Though if he was the villain, they probably would have turned him into like the actual, blob, like the horror movie monster, the he ate like if Cartman ate some kind of alien space jelly and it turned him into a giant blob monster. But who I don't write the episodes, they
I
do.
mean, yeah, but we can also talk about other characters now, like maybe Kenny. I mean,
Oh
one
yeah.
of my favorite episodes of him is the Major Boobage.
That episode that is
Oh
parody
yeah.
of Metallica movie. Huh?
Yeah, I mean, and
No,
that's
Iron Maiden.
no the heavy metal.
Heavy metal.
Heavy metal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's another
Yeah,
episode where
I
they experimented a lot with different animation styles.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they did a hell of a good job of that episode. I mean, especially since they like mimicked, other animation style. I think they used the technique rotoscoping in which they used an actual live action actor and that they just traced over her movements for
Yeah.
each frame. That was really impressive. I mean, also Kenny, getting high off of cat piss. That was
And the fight with Kenny
where did they get this
uh,
stuff?
with the Kyle father, I remember.
Yeah, Gerald.
Gerald Broflowski. Because to
Just
travel to Boopland, you need to smell cat piss.
Yeah,
I remember. Hmm?
yeah.
yeah, and seeing Kenny High was really funny.
Cheese it up was the term.
I have the cheesed up Kenny figure from Amazon. It's like sitting in my office right now.
Yeah, Kenny is a lucky bastard.
Like you call that Luke?
Well, mm, he was with a big tits cowboy lady, cowgirl lady, fighting in the Bubacron.
Yeah. And later in the same episode, luego, then when they think that Kenny is reformed and everything, he gets hype on flowers.
Yeah. And I remember, I like Kenny, but I miss, I miss the jokes, that Kenny dies at the end of all episodes in the
Yeah.
first few seasons. Because now Kenny's more like a background character. If he's not Mysterion or Princess Kenny, he's barely there. Butters is the real fork kid, you could say, more than Kenny
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, he is actually. I mean, if anything, I think like Butters always ought to be included like in the I mean, if you're going to include like all four characters in your advertising or marketing promotion, you either need to have like you need to either include Butters in with the, all four kids, or you just have both Cartman and Butters in like the promotional material. I mean, I would put in like either Cartman and Butters if I was like including like making a South Park thumbnail, and instead of including like say Kyle or Stan, because Butters is like so you know I mean, I think he just has, because clearly he has the best chemistry with Cartman.
Speaking of Kenny, back to Kenny. Kenny is the less prominent of the four kids, but Kenny have many of the best episodes. I remember one episode that Kenny dies and have a golden PSP and need to fight Satan army.
Yeah, that was a really funny
Oh
episode.
yeah, that was an
Yeah.
awesome episode. Yeah,
Yeah.
they took shots at the whole Terry Schiavo fiasco. That was yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah, they say that Kenny was like a kid. Keanu Reeves, I remember in that episode. Huh?
Yeah.
And another episode, obviously, the Mysterion episode with Kenny.
Yeah, the whole thing where at first, now everyone knows that Kenny is Mysterion, but at the time nobody knew who was Mysterion. That was the why it was called Mysterion, because nobody knew who he was.
Even in the first episode of Mysterion, you didn't know who Mysterion was. Was in, that Cthulhu arc that, that Kenny's Mysterion.
Yeah, I mean I mean a little bit surprised that they had Kenny be Mysterion at the very end, but I thought, oh okay, yeah, that actually kind of makes sense. It actually fits him. As a matter of fact, that he would have his own alternate persona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And speaking about that, was some of the Kun episodes are also really funny, like the trilogy of the superheroes. One is called?
Um, I don't know. The Mintberry Crunch saga, because he was the hero
Oh
and
yeah.
not Mysterion, sadly.
Yeah.
I didn't
They just picked Bradley, the some other one of the other background kids, to give him a bit of a role in the show, and then after that they just didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like sometimes, the random background characters
Yeah.
that are prevalent even in one
I
or
mean,
two episodes.
originally Butters
Butters
was,
was one of them.
and he became quite popular, especially with his very own episode.
Because Butters
Oh yeah.
was practically Pip but funnier than Pip. You know, Pip was like that punch line and all that, that whiny little kid.
Yeah,
That
the punching bag of everyone.
yeah, and the kids treat him like shit. Well, Butters was like that, but funnier.
Yeah.
And that's what.
I
Huh?
I mean, Butters. I think Butters was only created like as an afterthought because nobody really liked Pep, even when they gave him his own episode. And I think they said that was the a low point of the show because it was a mistake giving Pip his own episode. So they just thought, okay, forget about the whiny little British kid. Let's just develop one of the other characters that who's just in the background and turn him into an actual character.
Yeah. I remember the first prominent episode of Butters was one that was Pip 2. Was one that Stan was in, a sea Kyle house or something like that, and was a meteor rain, and Stan was with the nerds, Pip and Butters.
Yeah.
And that was the episode that Butters stole the thunder of Pip.
Yeah.
And after that, it was all about Butters and fuck Pip. I remember.
Yeah.
But it was a change for the better.
Huh?
Or no?
I'd say
Huh?
you mean like what's changed for the better in like regards to the writing or
No.
the characters or
veteran, that they replace Pip with Butters.
I mean, the thing is, about Pip, he was more or less like just a punchline about, stereotypes and all that. But Butters, he was just more about this like whole naive little kid and all that who was, just trying to get used to, all the cruel kids being, bullying him, but just rolling with the punches. Plus, Butters is based on one of the crew members, one of the animators behind the show. So I think that Butters was is definitely a far more meaningful character than Pep.
And I remember that, I love the fathers of Butters. I know the parents are crap and horrible people, but they are funny.
Yeah.
Their interaction
I
with
mean,
Butters.
ironically, in one episode, Sharon, the mother of Stan, kinda acted like the mother of Butters. If you don't remember the
The
episode.
spooky fish episode,
Yeah.
that goldfish killed people.
And later they dropped that with Sharon and turned it into an angry Marge Simpson, but the mother of Butters expanded off that kind of idea and became like that all the time.
Yeah.
And the father of Butters that
You are grounded.
Yeah. It's funny how people are all in agreement that the parents of Butters are the worst parents in the series, and that's a show with a lot of bad parents.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, all the adults in the show are literally like mouth breathing fucking morons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's part of the joke. That they are really stupid and the kids have to solve everything.
Yes, I think that's part of the magic of South Park. But not all the adults were idiots. Principal Victoria was like a more normal.
Yeah, and
And she was.
Yeah, but she's
raised
not
with
part of the
the
show anymore for some
principal.
reason.
yeah, and obviously we can't forget about Chef. He was like the hero of the kids, not only one of the few smart
The
adults.
mentor.
Yeah,
You could say was. I like it, Chef. He was a
Yeah.
good character.
Yeah, it's. I mean, there was like a really, really tragic story behind that. I mean, I just feel so bad for the voice actor behind Chef, who,
Isaac
you
Hayes.
know,
Yeah.
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 Uh,
I mean, and if you look like into more about it, I mean, I think his name what was it Isaac Hayes, he he actually never had a problem with the show's shots against like Scientology and all that in the first place. In fact, I think it's because because they Scientology forced Isaac Hayes to quit the show, and he was dying around the time when he left, so he couldn't record Chef anymore, even if he wanted to. But
That's
you
sad.
know I'm
yeah.
and
I don't know.
I just wish that it had ended on a much better note, rather than how it did, with Chef getting that really, really
Mauled to
violent end
death
that he
by a
got.
tiger and a bear. Hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because at the time they were really angry with him because they didn't know about the Scientology, forced him to do that letter and all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but now that it's all out in the open, I mean, maybe, hopefully, South Park could try to make amends
I
with
think
his
that
memory and his
they
family and all
did
that.
in the video game Stick of Truth with the chef boss fight.
Yeah.
Is much more dramatic.
Oh yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah.
And you feel sad for Chef as a Nazi zombie. Huh?
Yeah. It, it, they didn't went with the dark chef. That was the other idea to make him a villain. And in here, yeah,
The villain was Clyde.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
Interesting that they made Clyde the main villain, but of course, Kenny had to be the final boss at the very end, which I liked.
yeah,
Yeah. Princess Kenny.
yeah. And then it's Nazi zombie Princess Kenny
Yeah.
with the Nazi zombie unicorn.
Unicorn. That was a pretty epic final boss.
Ah, that game is really good actually.
Yeah.
In general.
We beat it a few weeks ago.
Yeah, in fact, we are going to use the footage of that game for this podcast.
But back to Chef, yeah,
Oh,
I
nice.
think that in the video game they respect more the legacy of Chef.
Yeah, and they show him more like the hero of the kids, like he was.
For example, there is an animation of Chef biting the kids, but if you tap, the button, his face is like what I am doing, and he stops and says, "I am sorry, kids."
Yeah. Hmm.
Uh, I'm I'm sorry, children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that- For
I
all
mean, I
South
really
Park.
hope they can touch. But like I said, I mean, that was a really good tribute to Chef in Stick of Truth. I just really hope they can probably, just hopefully they can probably touch on him like in some way, shape, or form. I
Yeah,
mean, I
but
know that uh Isaac Hayes's son is in the entertainment business. Maybe they can involve him being like
For
Chef's illegitimate son or
um,
something, and bring him on as a full character or something. I don't know.
Hellsender,
I'm just
Chef reminds me of Troy McClure and Lionel Hutz, popular characters of The Simpsons that, just like Chef, they just vanish because of the death of the voice actor, you know?
yeah, and they prefer
mm,
to not recast the
Yeah,
character.
with
yeah. I mean, like I said, it doesn't have to be like Chef again. It could just be like someone, similar to Chef, like, Chef's, like Chef's illegitimate son, or or something, or
Yeah.
some like chef's brother,
Yeah.
or
I
I don't
think
know,
that
just something to touch on chef's legacy because he
yeah,
was like a
a
pivotal
closure. Yeah.
character.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and I think that he was actually a really cool character, the chef. I mean, that episode where they are with Cartman accidentally ate Kenny, his soul, and he had to visit chef parents to make a exorcism. That was a really funny episode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And in that
that
episode,
was
there
a
wasn't a scammer Sijik with a show, something like that, and was
Yeah.
the villain
Yeah, that was really funny too.
and was the enemy of Stan and was the biggest turd in the universe. That was the title of that episode.
The biggest douche in the universe.
Yeah, douche.
Yeah.
And he even received the title
Yeah.
at the end. The biggest douche. He even beat a literal alien douche from planet Douchelog, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of douche, I remember one of my favorite episode of Stan was that of voting for the new mascot,
Yeah.
the turta or the turt sandwich or the douche. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they definitely made their statement with that. I mean, the
Pe-
two
people to this
that's
day make
essentially your
reference to that
politics.
episode with the giant douche and turd sandwich.
Oh yeah, and they included what was it, PETA or Greenpeace into the episode as
Yeah,
Yeah.
the who were the butt monkeys for the joke. That was like that was the icing on the cake.
Well, for me was the scene when they are talking about the new mascot and Cartman literally take the stand and present literally a turd sandwich and you have the song, who lets the dogs out? Who?
Yeah, a guy dressed like a mascot of a turd sandwich.
Sandwich. Huh? That was so random, but
Yeah.
and the song, everything, mwah, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That episode is one of my favorites.
Yeah, and to this day, like I said, people are every time that there's a election coming and people hate both candidates. They say, "Oh, this one is the turd sandwich and this one is the giant douche."
I remember that few seasons ago there was the story arc of Trump versus Hillary Clinton with, Mr. Garrison as Trump, and they used the term turd sandwich and douche, but even if that was a long story arc with 10 episodes, wasn't as funny as that single episode. Huh?
Yeah, because that was a really good episode, and
One of the best. For
yeah,
me.
and that
It was actually a good episode. I like that one because they gave I mean, I think they put Garrison back in the spotlight again after he he stopped he transitioned back into being a man. So yeah, I mean it's really interesting where they took Garrison's character.
Yeah, but I remember that in the South Park fandom that I was, a lot of people didn't like it. Not because they were making fun of Donald Trump, because they thought that he was like taking too much attention from the other characters and stuff like that.
Well, you could say the same thing with Randy.
Yeah,
For example, in the new seasons of South Park, they are good, but I miss the Kyle or Stan episode. They are now like secondary characters. It's just
Yeah.
about Cartman or Randy,
yeah, it's like Randy and Wes starring Cartman the show.
Yes.
Yeah, it's. I mean, they might as well just do an episode with both Randy and Cartman, since they're practically now the flagship characters for the whole show.
For example, in the Marsh family, Stan is not the central character anymore. It's Randy of the Marsh family now.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Yeah, Randy's funny, but I think he kinda is taking too much attention from the other characters. I mean, even Butters doesn't appear that much anymore.
Yes, but I miss Stan and Kyle. I know they weren't as funny as Cartman or Randy or Mr. Hanky, but they were nice people, obviously for South Park standards, but
Yeah.
sometimes you want uh,
A straight man.
a straight man that is gentle and a
good
better person.
Yeah, in fact that was a lot of times what make Cartman antics look so over the top, because you had the contrast of the more reasonable people like Cal and Stan.
Yeah, for example, you could say if Kyle was the ultimate good guy, he was the Batman of the show and his Joker was Cartman
Yeah.
of Kyle.
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's. I mean, they of course they can't, get rid of the whole Cartman and Kyle dynamic. I think, right now, just to, change things up, they just have was it Tolkien take the Kyle role now, because he now lives next to Stan at the
Integrity
pot
Farms.
farms.
Yeah.
Yeah, Integrity Farms.
Mm, yeah, I like Token as a character too, but I miss, when the show was about the four kids more. Huh?
Yeah, the four kids hanging out in crazy adventures.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a little bit of that in one of the latest specials, the one where they are grown up and all of that.
Yeah, for me
Yeah.
that could be was like the perfect finale for South Park.
Yeah, but a lot of times South Park has been in a good spot to end, but they decide to continue anyways.
Yes, we have many examples. First, the movie was the first time. Huh? The second, you could say the 200 episode with all the celebrities versus South Park. Huh? That was another.
Yeah.
The You Are Getting Cold saga.
And Imagination Land could
Yeah.
have been a good one too.
And all. And the COVID or post-pandemic special, all that. But South Park, I think South Park shouldn't. I love South Park, but I don't want to be like The Simpsons, that is, like.
I mean, the problem, I think the only reason why Trey and Matt keep doing it is because they know that if they stop doing it, what's the company that owns them? Comedy Central and Paramount will still
Paramount, yeah.
yeah, will do it without them.
Yeah, and they will be trappy.
Yeah.
The show.
Well, the thing is, I mean, they own. From what I've heard, Parker and Stone own the IP for South Park. It's not like Paramount or any other company can do it, not without
Well, if
them.
that's
But
the case, I think it maybe is a good time to finish South Park.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 or 2 seasons and last JRPG video game.
Yeah.
A good one, obviously. Sorry, Snow Day.
Yeah, that was not very good.
But I don't know. I don't want.
I don't even remember
Have
that they just put in the bare minimum effort in that damn game. I mean, yeah, it was kind of gratifying to see it back in, try to embrace the 3D graphics again, but come on, they could have hired a different studio instead of some, just some cut rate satellite studio over in like Norway to do it for them. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
Just I
yeah. I
mean,
mean,
they
in
they
the
Was a
just put some
lazy
like loving care into that IP.
yeah, in the other games, they in the Stick of Truth they hired uh,
Obsidian.
yeah, Obsidian, and in the next one, Fractured But Whole, it was Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually worked at that studio that made Fractured Butthole. They were, put full of cool people, and I some of them, complained that they they were really bummed that Parker and Stone didn't commission them to, make another iteration of it, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
And that studio just that studio just closed, in case you guys didn't know. I mean,
that's a
shame.
shame. Yeah,
But then
Yeah, we
again,
know that
eventual.
Ubisoft is in a lot of shit lately. Hmm?
yeah. South Park could made a good episode about them actually.
Yeah.
Huh.
But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't want South Park to go on forever.
Like The Simpsons.
Yeah.
I know South Park is as old as The Simpsons. The difference is they produce less episodes. Simpson in its prime it have, I don't know, maybe 25 episodes per season. That was insane.
Yeah.
Even when it was good, that was insane.
Yeah, a lot of episodes with each season. Because even though South Park makes
Yeah.
episodes really fast, they don't work for a lot of time. Trey Parker, Matt Stone in them. So it still goes slow, even though they work their asses off for like a few months.
Well, I remember in an interview many years ago, they said that one episode they could do it in 1 or 2 weeks. South Park was very fast to produce.
Yeah, that's why I said that in a couple of episodes, an entire season is done.
Mhm.
And
Huh.
yeah, but yeah, and with each season they are doing less and less episodes, and now they are even doing those specials.
I think the longest season of South Park had like 16 episodes, and that was all.
Yeah,
But
Oh yeah.
and now they are like 10 episodes or less per season.
yeah,
But I think that's for the best because they have more time to,
yeah. Do more what they want to rather
yeah,
than
or have a more quality control.
yeah,
I mean, I think it's clear that they're starting to get they're starting to get bored of the show. I mean, I think that whole fiasco during like season 19, season 20 during the during the Trump years was I think it just go to show that they I think they were starting to lose passion for the show.
Yeah,
It
like
wasn't until like the pandemic came around that they all had to work from home. They started to try go back to their roots and experiment again. And it actually they came through.
I
I
think
really
the
liked some of
problem with South Park
the films they made. Yeah.
was that seasons that you mentioned, they didn't want to do single episodes. They like to do long story arcs like the Troll Saga or in the PC Principal that they introduce PC Principal and all that.
yeah,
And was like
I
10
mean
episodes.
and it was good of them to experiment. It's just that I think it was like literally the first time they took on serialized storytelling that they had just I don't think they had much idea
yeah.
with what they were doing.
Well, in the past they had some episodes connect, like cartoon parts 1 or 2 or the Imagination
Yeah,
Land,
but
but
were 3 episodes at
max.
most.
Yeah, and I
Yeah, but it
think they
wasn't
were
like
better
they were.
storylines like that.
It wasn't like so much as like long-term storytelling. It was more like they were just touching back on it as a sort of fan service. But yeah, I mean, it's nice fan service, just nothing. It's just not, the kind of long-term storytelling you would expect from like more, from other shows.
The problem with that long story arcs that we mentioned, the troll and all that, was like they were like a South Park movie, but too long, over a stretch movie, and that was a little
Yeah,
boring. Huh?
Yeah.
For example, the first time the episode of the troll that Randy was a troll and all that was funny, but after 3 or 4 episodes about that, that was boring. Huh?
Gerald was the
Yeah,
troll.
with Gerald, I know Gerald Broflowski. One of the few times that the spotlight is for Kyle that and not Stan that.
Yeah.
One of the few highlights of that saga.
Yeah.
They could easily say, Randy is the troll.
Yeah, but that would have been a little too obvious. So, I mean, it would have been Randy or Cartman normally.
Yeah.
yeah.
But in that same saga, Cartman became an screamer and the hero was PewDiePie or something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
It wasn't a good episode, sorry.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah, that payoff was just plain awful. Even um I think even Parker and Stone acknowledged that that whole troll saga was just piss poor planned, but I guess, live and learn.
I
Don't
mean, I
make
think that
Kyle's dad the punchline.
yeah, I think the the better version of the long storylines are the South Park specials where there is some connectivity, but they don't have to go for that long. Uh,
Yeah, like the
Yeah, they
COVID
don't go out
and
of the line.
post-COVID.
They don't have to, focus on, like long-term storytelling and all the complications that go behind it, and all of the episodes are self-contained. So I think it's how the show started, and it's probably best they just leave it at that.
yeah.
Mhm.
Guys, I think we have gone for maybe long enough. You want to talk about something else in particular?
Mm,
I mean, we can, I wish, we could talk like maybe some episodes, hopefully, what, where they'll take the show. I mean, I'm hoping they'll make it. I mean, I know, you said, that, Doggo, I know you said that, you wanted to, you think it would be a good time for the show to end, but, hopefully, and I think, this is just me talking. I hope they can last until like say the 30th season, just so before they end it all, just so they can say to all the critics who are saying that the show is washed up, it has nothing else to offer, but they said like, hey, fuck you, we made it about as long as the Simpsons did, and we're still going strong, so haha. And I don't think even Family Guy has gone for 30 seasons just yet. Have they? Let me see.
I don't know.
well, I think that's. I want to South Park to end with a bang in a high note. Huh?
Yeah. But the problem of doing that is when you end on a high note, normally that makes people want more.
Yeah,
South Park
unfortunately, and
has
then they
many
demand
opportunities to
reboots,
finish
and
in
we
a
already
high
know how well
note.
that goes.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe it's because I love South Park so much. South Park really helped me in moments of my life. Yeah, so I have a special place for South Park. Hmm?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't want just to be like The Simpsons, a wash up show that lost its magic. Huh? I
Yeah.
think South Park, the fans, and South Park, and even the creators deserve a big finale. Even could be another motion picture, like, uh, and you could say South Park the movie sequel. That's the title.
Yeah.
Huh? And maybe is the Saddam Hussein is back as the villain. I don't know, but it needs to be finished with a bang. This series.
Yeah.
Hmm?
I mean, they need to, have a really good setup for that kind of movie. But if they do pull it off, hopefully it will either be, in theaters or, probably hopefully something that's not, available on the Paramount Plus network because that'd be, that'd be just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why, well, we all can agree that South Park deserve to have a good finale. I remember, for example, one show was a good show, but sadly was rushed to end, was King of Hill, because
Hmm.
20th Century Fox wanted the time slot of King of Hill, to that Cleveland show. So they say to Mike Judge, the creator, sorry, you have 2 episodes to, lose the ends and all that, and to do a finale. And that's
Yeah.
not the way to do it.
Nah.
Hmm? King of
No,
Hill
I
deserves
mean, the
better.
way they did it was just so underhanded. But, I think the saddest thing is that, we're not going to be able to see the if that reboot of King of the Hill is going to come back, then it's going to they're going to have to do it without one of their voice actors who played Dale, and that because he just passed away, a couple of years ago. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I don't want South Park, the Paramount or whatever say, sorry guys, you have 2 or 3 episodes to use title, lucent. Hmm? South Park,
Yeah.
even, not only South Park, King of Hill deserves better, and that's why I think I want a good ending for South Park.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, me
think
too.
even we had the ending with all the kids. They are adults, Cartman having a shit life in the end of the episode, and finally they tease that Stan and Wendy becomes a thing. Huh?
Yeah.
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 They haven't touched on Wendy for quite a while. I mean, curious where they'll go with her.
So I think that was they could just finish there if they wanted.
Yeah.
For me, that was like a perfect ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
yeah, I think that we have gone long enough. And yeah, anything else you want to talk? Hmm?
I think I'm good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Well, anyways, that's all for today. See you later, guys.
Yeah.